All right, Timberwolves fans, hello and welcome to Talkin Timberwolves. I am excited to introduce to you my compadres in Timberwolves fandom, Carlos Warren and Kevin Stanky. I'm your host, Garrett Gilbertson. Good to see you guys. How's it going?
Hola, senor.
Hey, Garrett. It's going fantastic. How are you?
I'm great. I'm excited. The season starts tomorrow night. We take on the Houston Rockets for the first game of the 21-22 season. And really, what I'd like to discuss with you guys is what are your thoughts on the win total for this year? Carlos, you gave me the Vegas odds. Vegas has the Timberwolves win over under at 35 and a half games. So let's
35 and a
hear
half.
from you.
Okay. So I'll say this. It moved a lot. Just a little context on that number. Within the last, I think the original number was around under 30, around 20, 29 or so. And within the last week and a half, it shifted that drastically. Was it probably some of the preseason play? Who knows? But the money was clearly on the over. So there's a lot of confidence that the Wolves are going to be an above average. Well, 35 and a half is still a losing record. But in this Western Conference, it's going to be tough to get that. So, spoiler alert, I'm going to go with the under. And here's why. I love for them to hit that. But the Western Conference is just so damn good. It's so good. There's so many teams top to bottom that are just it's top heavy. I mean, you got a top heavy Western Conference, but then you also have some teams in the middle that are just really good basketball teams. You got Phoenix as a team that went to the finals last year, which obviously that came out of nowhere, and they caught a good lucky break. You play Kawhi-less Clippers, essentially. The Lakers, did they beat the Lakers? I'm pretty sure that's who they beat, right? Yeah, gotta go back.
Well, didn't Phoenix carry the number one seed? They were number one seed in the West.
Yeah, because
they were
LA was a playing.
Utah was
they were a playing team. That's right. Yeah,
that's right. Utah.
But like that, a team like Phoenix is still. If I were to rank top to bottom, they're not 1, 2. They're on the top of the Western Conference, but it's just so deep. Denver, the Lakers, Utah, Golden State. You got Klay Thompson back again, like this year. And granted, it takes probably another year to work through that, but nonetheless, it's a stacked team. And they also have the Wolves, whatever pick. I don't want to talk about it, but they have. Can't even recall what they drafted. Nonetheless, it's just so stacked that getting to there we go, 7. Thank you. To getting to 35 and a half is just going to be a task. But I'll wait for this later. I do like a lot of I'm not going to be shocked if they go over. I just am going to go with the under because a lot of iffiness there. They just haven't. You got to show me first before I'm going to believe. So that's my final answer for now.
So you're going under 35 wins for the T-Wolves.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm going to argue with you, but before I do, Kevin, what do you do? Over or under 35 and a half wins for the Timberwolves this year?
35 wins is a 426 winning percentage. So, looking to the teams in that range last year, we're talking about Sacramento, we're talking about New Orleans, both teams that didn't make the play-in tournament. They were at 431. They're good teams. And I feel like the Timberwolves are just as good as those teams. And you look at the teams above them: San Antonio, Golden State, Memphis, LA Lakers. Definitely San Antonio. I'm seeing them ratcheting back in the Western Conference from that 33 win total that they had last year. Pop's going to be motivated to get his win king hat on. But I just don't see San Antonio improving on their totals. And Memphis, I don't know. They should be happy to be floundering where they are. So moving up to the top of the Western Conference, I don't know. I mean, we've got those teams. We got the Lakers and Golden State still in the play-in version of events here, but I don't know. I think that obviously the bottom of the West, OKC, Houston, are just going to be doormats. New Orleans, Sacramento. I don't really see how they can fall behind those teams. And San Antonio, Memphis, now we're talking about being in the 6 to 10 area. And I think that this Minnesota Timberwolves team is much better than they were last year. They are going to only be better. And I think, comparing to the Eastern Conference, Toronto, Chicago area, but then there's got Charlotte, Indiana above them, Washington. I don't know. I think that this Timberwolves team has underperformed in the past and can only overperform moving forward. So, like I said before this performance here, I'm figuring out ways to drive, you said, to Iowa, I believe, Carlos, or that I have to walk to Canada, or I'm looking to place some bets right now.
Canada might be an option.
On the over.
Yes. So you'd place the bet on the over, huh?
Yes, I will wire my money to anybody who will allow this wager.
Lives on that side of the border. Find a friend in Iowa, send him $20 and say over on the Wolves. Lock him in. Kevin says 35.5. We're going over.
They don't even have to be a friend, just as long as they're trustworthy.
Fair. How are you gonna find them? Where are you gonna find them from? Then? Like Facebook? They're not trustworthy right off the bat. Where are you gonna find them?
I don't even know.
Put an ad in a local paper.
I bet the over.
Trustworthy.
When we talk about 35 wins for the Minnesota Timberwolves, I think we could do it, especially because we're going to start out of the gate 3-0. We might have some rough patches out of that, but we're talking about playing Houston and then New Orleans without Zion, 2 games back to back. I think that we're easily starting out 3-0, and with the performances that the team's going to turn in those games, that the confidence is only going to build from there.
Rat,
all right.
I have something to add, but I'm going to wait till the Rat Garrett gives his take here.
All right. Well,
and I was ask both of you. I want you to justify it. But let's hear it, Garrett.
I was just going to say I would put my money on the over right away, and I would run to Iowa. Probably closer from where I am than to Canada. Kevin, you're closer to Canada, so you can go there. No, I would take that over. I would say the Wolves, I'd put my money on them getting 45 wins this year, man. And that at least gets them to 500. I think they're talented enough. When you're going to compare these teams, the other teams like Sacramento, Memphis is a good team, but I don't think they're as talented as the T-Wolves are, especially if they're healthy this year. If the Wolves can stay healthy, which we haven't seen for 3 years, if Cat, D'Lo, and Anthony Edwards can play a full season together, there's no reason why they couldn't surpass 35 wins and get to 45 and sit very nicely at that 7th, 6th seed in the playoffs, really. Teams that are going to fall. Everybody wants the Lakers, thinks they're going to run away with it, right? Well, what happens if they get hurt? Anthony Davis has been hurt. He was hurt a lot last year. And LeBron, he is a freak of nature. He is a amazing athlete who has had longevity in his career, right? But at some time, old Father Time is going to catch up to LeBron. I don't think it's this year, and I think he's talented enough to maintain greatness. But, hey, the health bug can bite any team. Utah, I think they're a great team. Arizona's a good team. They're going to stay up there at the top. San Antonio is down. Popovich, what they say, he's got 1 or 2 years left. before he turns the reins over to somebody else. And I don't think this year is the year they're going to come through. Sacramento is younger than the Wolves are. And certainly I wouldn't consider them as talented as the Wolves roster is. They've got good players, but I think the Wolves are more well-rounded than Sacramento is. So I don't think it's unrealistic to expect 45 wins out of this team, especially with a good head coach like Chris Finch pushing them to have fun. That's what I saw in the preseason, that they were out there having fun, but also maintaining that that emphasis on defense, which I hope they can carry into the regular season.
If you're saying that the formula to winning is who has the most fun, I'm calling you out, because that is the fun factor means jack shit when you're going to be out talented by. I'm with you.
Are you telling me that Golden State doesn't have fun? The Lakers aren't having fun?
Why they have fun? Because they're really good. That's why they have fun. Having fun. That's why they have fun, because they're really good and they beat the shit out of other teams. And beating the shit out of other teams, I bet you, is a lot of fun. The Wolves have not done that. Not saying that things can change. Okay, so I do like the Wolves because looking at the roster, they're deep. Like, this is a deep of a team, like bench-wise, that I've seen this team like have. Nas Reed, Beasley, you got guys that can score off the bench. Prince, like, yeah, Okogie's offense sucks, but you're always going to have someone like Russell or Edwards or Cat in that same lineup or rotation. Like, Beasley can put up points. So they're a deep team. So top to bottom are really solid, like as good as I've seen them in terms of depth. My struggle is trying to name teams in the West that I'm like, yep, they're better than this team. Absolutely. Only teams that I can confidently say that about: the Thunder, the Spurs, the Rockets, and I'm going to give it to the Pelicans, that they're better top to bottom than the Pelicans. But that's all I'm confident.
They got 2 all-stars on that team, the Pelicans. Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, they're both all-stars.
It's like this, though. Like, it is with me, like the Wolves and the Pelicans, when I think of like it's not like this. I just think that there's just so many good teams. The Grizzlies are probably, like, I think they could be top of the high bar would be maybe like Grizzlies, but there's just so much talent in the West. It's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard. And that is because they are deep, you can afford a few injuries and players to take some nights off, but not too many at all. And I forgot Beverly. Yeah. The bite. I love that. Like, I love the fact that they added that guy this offseason, just from an attitude and like perspective. Like guy's awesome. Guy talks the best shit in the NBA. That's gonna be great to have. And Edwards is gonna eat that. Like, Edwards, that guy's gonna do the same.
That was my first thought too. Like, Edwards and Ricky Rubio got along super well last year, right? Like, Edwards called Rubio his mentor during the season, and when they shipped him out, I was a little worried. But when they brought in Patrick Beverly, I'm sitting here going, dude, this guy plays defense like a madman and gets in people's heads, you know? He's not afraid to jaw and get and mess with them. And he is the perfect player to try and get that defensive intensity from Anthony Edwards.
Just the attitude, like you take a little bit of Beverly and he injects that into Edwards, and Edwards like, yeah, I want to be like this guy. And not even just, the hustle on defense, but in general, that mentality, he's going to be fun, that guy, because he's just physically just more on a skill level. Edwards, that's another reason. Yeah. Could they go above 35.5? Yeah. But Edwards, we can talk about that. Like, Edwards could be really, really, really good. Don't know yet, but he could be really, really good. I think the odds are that he would be more really, really good than just okay.
I agree. When I look at the teams that you listed, like, you're telling me that the Kings are a better team than the Timberwolves.
Okay, no, not the Kings are also in that. Kings could be good though. Like Kings aren't bad. Like they're not.
No?
So that's what I'm saying. Like teams that I'm confident, like yeah, I'm sure that the Wolves are better than this team. There's not many. There's not. Like I'm only sure about the Thunder and Houston. I would even be able to like you could have debates about the Pelicans, the Spurs, the Kings. I'd say they're more talented than the Spurs, but nonetheless, Popovich is a great coach, and he just figures out a way to get so much out of his players that I wouldn't be shocked.
I like that I've just been sitting on this Patrick Beverly pictures, which were really fun to find. He's fun, man. He's fun to watch. He's a character. I love it. But no, I think the T-Wolves are way better than the Kings, dude. Only for this reason. The Kings are younger than the Wolves, right? They're not as talented. They don't have the experience that Carl has, D'Angelo Russell has, Patrick Beverly,
Karl-Anthony.
Karl-Anthony, you're right. First name.
I don't know how much
Towns.
Like, I'm not sold though that experience really means shit. Like prove it to me that experience in the NBA actually, you have guys that have been in the league longer, actually translates into wins. You can't, like, there's nothing that substantiates that. I look at the Kings roster, they're also somewhat deep. They're not like phenomenal, but Tyrese Halliburton, really good. Fox is an incredible athlete. Bagley, yeah, underperforming. Barnes, like Rashawn Holmes, Minnesota, right? Rashawn Holmes, is he Minnesota? No, I don't think so. But he healed.
Well, Bagley's out of the rotation. I mean, they announced that he's not even going to be in the rotation.
Huh?
First night.
Oh yeah, he was. I know that.
I mean, I think Sacramento is a shit show. I think that they are no way going to be anywhere near the standings where the Minnesota Timberwolves are. They're in the OKC Houston tier. And if it wasn't for Popovich, San Antonio would be right in that tier as well. New Orleans, I mean, who knows how long Zion's going to be out. He could be out for a couple more days. He could be out for a couple more years. We really don't know with that guy. So I'm really feeling confident about the Timberwolves season and the volatility of so many of the teams that are above them too just makes it so easy for them to jockey up. I mean, the pieces are laid so well for them. Anthony Edwards having a monster year is gonna lead to Karl-Anthony Towns, having that sort of realization that that he can be the guy along with another guy. And I'm looking forward to the dynamic this year between them. I hope they don't make any funky trades that are like breaking those two up. I think that those two have the potential for something huge, and I hope that they recognize it too.
Towns is looking. Garrett, can you give me a Towns shredded photo?
Towns shredded photo.
Sensation. Towns put some work in. So yeah.
Well, yeah. I think he said something that he was he had lost like 50 pounds or something crazy. Maybe not that much, but he had lost that after last season or
he did a lot of boxing in the off season. Like he trained, he is in the best shape that I've ever seen him in. And because he's not that physical of a post. So
I'm going to block him right
I don't
now.
think it's going to impact. You're blocking it?
If you're not watching the return,
it's
all right.
Look, it's in your.
I'm sorry, I interrupted your train of thought with my stupid images.
I want to think. No Towns shredded.
No.
Anyways, Town is shredded.
I'll go through.
Take my word for it. Look up Town Moody pics. look up town nudie pics, and
Okay.
best, the worst town shredded. I'm gonna do that. Town nudie pics, and maybe we get lucky and find something, some more.
Weird.
Oh, here's why Memphis is going to be better than the Wolves, though, because they got a guy that's going to just destroy us. They took
Tyus Jones.
Oh, yeah, Culver. Yeah.
They got Culver. They got Jang.
Yeah.
Do they still have Jang?
Oh, I think they might have Jang. Culver is such a God. He's brutal.
I think Jang might have gone somewhere else, but I don't know about Culver. But yeah, I feel like they signed Jaren Jones to the extension, Jaren Jackson, and he's a wild card. It's a wild card. He's like an Otto Porter type of wild card. It's like, what has he shown us so far? He's got the big contract, but what's that going to result in? And I like John Morant. I think he's going to be a factor in this league for a long time, but I don't know.
Memphis has Steven Adams
they're fun to root for. They'll be fun to root for, and if they get in there. But if it's rooting against the Timberwolves, though, I'm gonna edge them out. And Dylan Brooks has always been a Timberwolves killer, and luckily he's starting the season on the injured reserve as well. But it's only a matter of time until he comes out of the woodwork again.
All right, here's their roster. Here's the Grizzlies roster for you, okay? And pull it up here. Let's get this going. They made the big trade for Steven Adams, which was huge, right? They traded Valanciunas. How do you say his name?
Valanciunas, yeah.
Valanciunas. I love Steven Adams. I think he's a monster offensively and defensively, but he'll fit in well with Ja Morant. Kyle Anderson is good. Dylan Brooks is good. Jaren Jackson just signed the big contract.
There's nothing really that exciting, though. You're talking about Steven Adams. Like,
who's not
hey,
good?
they got Steven Adams. Jarrett Culver, exactly. Like, we want to see him do well, but he seems like a good guy. But,
Eves Pawns. They've got Eves Pawns. Don't forget about Eves. Did you forget about Eves?
I did forget about the Eves Pawns.
But yeah, I'll always cheer for Tyus Jones when I see him out there. He won the national championship, and he's from Minnesota. But unless he somehow becomes a star of this team, I can't imagine like really pulling behind Memphis Grizzlies.
No, I don't see it.
It's a Memphis Grizzlies. My whole point is, the only point I want to get across is 35.5 wins is hard because there are so many teams that, like, yeah, they don't look great. It's not like this team's going to blow you out of the water. But are the Wolves, are we sure, take the bias outside of it? If someone else is looking, they're doing the same thing. You got three dumbasses in Memphis doing a YouTube show and like talking about how awesome the Grizzlies are going to be. I don't know what their over-under is, but I think it's higher than ours. You're going to look at the Wolves roster and be like, Nas Reed, Prince, who, like, at this place, like, you got Towns and you got Edwards and you got Russell. But yeah, you just don't know. You got to show me first. And I'm confident. I'm the most optimistic I've been in a while.
I will say that the one thing I'm concerned about is the lack of a power forward on this team. We haven't had one. That's a lot of the things I've been reading is that we really need a power forward. Goes towards the whole Ben Simmons trade, which we can get into another time, whether or not we should do that. But I'll tell you, the guy that makes the difference, why I'm not worried that much about the lack of a big on this team, Nas Reed, dude. Nas Reed is a stud. Awesome. Yeah. He is an amazing player. He can pass the ball, his court vision. He's got handles for a big man. and he I don't need to see him shooting the three the way he did last year. He was really bad at some point last year. He got better at the end of the season, but he doesn't need to jack three-pointers. He needs to stay under the basket, protect the rim, rebound, the things that seeing him and Karl-Anthony Towns play together would be cool. It's just not going to be possible this year on this roster because you don't have another center that can take the floor when Karl needs a break, right?
Well, and when you look at Nas Reed, he looks like somebody he could play power forward. He's listed as 6'9" and 264 pounds. When you look at somebody like Charles Barkley, he's power forward. It's supposedly one of the best power forwards of all time, 6'6" and 252 pounds.
Charles Barkley is 6'4", 6'5". He's not six like that guy is small. Like
and that 6'6" is he's exaggerated. And so if you think
he's a freak.
So if you think Nas Reed is a center, I think that you should. I think the Timberwolves, you remember when they were playing a gorgeous G along with Karl-Anthony Towns as the Twin Towers. But you put Nas Reed in that kind of position, I think you'd be pretty well off. And they don't need offense out of that position. They just need somebody who's going to be able to guard the players, because the players who are playing in the post in the NBA this year are not offensive players, with the exception, of course, Nikola Jokic. Especially in the West, Gobert can get played off the court in the playoffs at least, and DeAndre Ayton, again, is a defensive force like Gobert. But who else? Why do you need to subscribe to a power forward at this point in the NBA? The West?
You're right. You don't have to in general. It's just changed where a 5 is not a 5 or a 4 is not a 4 that like we were accustomed. So it's just positionless. As long as if you're going to have that body out there when you have the scores that you do, because you got some guys that can put up points on this team. You just have to have someone filling those spots that can not give up a lot of points, really get some rebounds, play probably some perimeter defense. Like that's what you need. So you don't need anyone. And it's tough. You're right. Like it's a weak spot. Vanderbilt, Prince is a good defender. I love, we haven't talked at all about like who the real person we should be giving attention to. They're listed as power forward on ESPN, but it's probably more of a small forward. Jaden McDaniels.
Yeah.
Guy is we'll see. Like he had a really promising rookie year, but that's a guy I think more so obviously Edwards, but McDaniels, see what he does between like from year 1 to year 2. Was it just a little bit of a fluke, or is he for real? Yeah.
I don't think it was a fluke. Like his defensive awareness, right? And his ability to affect shots. How many times last year did you see him block a shot from behind the defender, right? Like his wingspan is so great that he affects the games like other players can't. And I think he is a big reason that the T-Wolves are more talented than some of the other teams like Sacramento, Memphis too, to that.
I agree with you that it's possible, but it's just not like a leap above. They're not a leap above any of these teams. They could be very well better. It's just a lot of unknowns. You know what I miss before we go into talk? Because what you guys are talking about is size, like guys that are big, that are like the traditional. Because McDaniels is a small guy in terms of he's not going to be able to take down the big guys. One of my all-time favorite Wolves players, Pekovic, man, the Godfather. I miss him.
Yeah,
miss that dude.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's running huge drug rings in Eastern Europe. Is that his deal?
There's something going on.
I mean, he's just bringing it. He's bringing it to Eastern Europe. They need it.
He's deep into like the Serbian mob. Like
I had heard
no joke.
He was a professional wrestler over there or something, just body slamming people, throwing them out of the rings.
Guy was awesome. The strongest dude ever. I have 2 jersey T-shirts remaining. One of them is a Pekovic jersey T-shirt. So I got my jersey key number 14, I believe, or 12. The other one is Derek Williams. Remember Derek Williams, number 2 overall from Arizona.
One of the
Rick
top
Williams.
5 worst draft picks ever.
God, yeah. I still got my Derek Williams jersey T-shirt though, and Pekovic.
Still would have
I wish I had
drafted
a
him over
Shred.
Kyrie though.
I wouldn't have.
No, I would not have.
I miss Peck. I'll miss Derek Williams. I
No,
don't know why you're holding on to that jersey T-shirt there.
No.
Hey, I'll buy it.
No way. Why? I have it for a reason. It's a Derek Williams.
If you wear that jersey T-shirt out and people see Williams on the back, do they often mistake it for a Mo Williams jersey?
Do they think you're like
Oh,
their friend Jack Williams or something?
There's the reason I don't wear this shirt ever. There's one reason. It's not because it's Derek Williams. It's because those damn shirts are so stiff. I love a nice soft T-shirt. Soft T-shirts are for the win. Who's gonna wear a piece of cardboard? Not me.
Mm-hmm.
I want to keep it, but I'm not giving that to Goodwill. That's staying with me. But am I gonna wear it? No, too stiff. I'm gonna walk around like a mummy. I don't want that. But those are staying in the collection.
And now we know a little bit too much about you, Carlos.
Soft shirts for the win. That's all I got.
That's excellent, guys. So, Carlos, just to recap. Oh, sorry.
I got one more question before. So, on the same topic, if you could go and choose one jersey from in the whole Wolves history, authentic jersey that you would wear, who would it be? Don't say KG. Like, come on, give me.
Well,
like,
that's the choice, but I understand. Take KG out of it.
I mean, I could think of a few. Maybe like a Wally Serbiak, Christian Laettner.
All right, I like it.
The
Laettner jerseys are so great, though. That Wolves
Anthony Peeler. We were just talking about Anthony Peeler earlier.
All State or something like that. Yeah, Peeler, number 1. Dougie West. I think Dougie West got into some coke. He had some problems. I like Doug West. I would say J.R. Ryder for me. I love J.R. Ryder.
J.R. Ryder, this is a great one, but he never wanted to play for the Timberwolves.
I don't know.
We never stood a chance.
Oh, he was awesome. Alexi Shved. I love Shved. I got Gersh.
Oh, no, yeah. Alexi Shved.
Oh, that's my gosh.
This is the one.
His first game that I saw him play, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm Alexi Shved fan for life. And it was disappointing after that.
We have a friend, Jeff Kirsch. And I bought him, I think this is a one-of-a-kind item. Before he had his first son, the gift I gave him, I got a custom-made Alexi Shved #1 onesie.
Wow.
For his
I want to be that baby.
I know. If Jeff doesn't like that, that's a piece of gold. Wherever that is, I hope Jeff still has it somewhere. Go knock someone up so you can get that Alexi Shved. I'll do it. I'll go do it.
I would, if I wanted a jersey right now, I wish I had bought a Brandon Roy jersey because my oldest son's name is Roy. Would have been perfect. I didn't. I would be impartial to go for a Gary Trent jersey. I love Gary Trent. I liked him as a player. Latrell Sprewell, big fan.
You know who number 11? Stojko Frankovic. You should pull that guy. Stojko, number 11.
Stojkovic, yeah. He loves smoking. Rasho Nesterovic, that's what I'm thinking of.
Rasho
was good. Rasho was really good. He's actually one of the higher. Yeah, he had a good career with the. He was a solid center. Rasho was great. Remember Dean Garrett? That guy was. He had a few years. Cherokee Parks jersey would be good.
Troy Hudson.
Oh yeah, we could get this. This could be an all. We could just list every single.
Yeah.
Wolf.
Really.
And just Bagel. So appreciate you for humoring me.
I liked it. That's a good one. We'll find you a super ultra rare jersey that has very soft fabric that you could enjoy and wear during the next show, Carlos.
Thank you. Just gotta be somewhat soft. It'll be good. Otherwise,
All
I'm
right.
gonna knock someone
Well,
else
we'll wrap
in
this
the head.
show up here, buddy. Just to recap, Carlos, you take the under, right?
Took the under. Yep.
Oh, I lost Stanky.
Stanky took the over.
Stanky's out. Tanky took the over, and I take the over. I went 45 games. Kevin was going with the over. I don't remember what he gave, but either way,
I hope you
what
guys
a
prove me
great-
wrong, though. I hope you prove me wrong.
I do too. All right. Well, thanks for talking some T-Wolves with us. You guys enjoy. Thanks for watching, everybody. And we will talk to you again after tomorrow night's game. Have a good one.